Not one.
Not two.
LeBron, tell us about that.
Not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven.
That's right. 8 arcs left in the story of One Piece.
Impossible.
This is going to be a crazy final saga. But King of Lightning, how are you getting 8 arcs? Whoa, whoa, whoa. When do you think the story's going to end? How about 2032? How about 2033? 2034? 2035?
That's enough!
Oh, what? Yeah. Wherever you are in life right now, I want you to tack on at least 8 more years. And then maybe by then, the story will be reaching its conclusion. Maybe. Let me explain to you what I said earlier this year, 2024 in February. ELBAF is starting soon, if not now, as of chapter 1126. So I figured it'd be a good time to dive into this like Michael Phelps right now.
Actually, I'm lying.
Though I'm lying to you, I fibbed.
So I fibbed.
Because before we dive headfirst into these waters, we gotta go to another pool, and this pool is owned by the sponsor of today's video. This video is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. Phishing attempts, cyber attacks, all the nasty hoo-ha malware and viruses that are out there in the World Wide Web. You need protection in your day-to-day life. Make sure that when you venture to these insane spots on the web, you are secure. And I know, my anime manga faithful, we go to some crazy, gnarly spots on the web. To each their own, but you do need a shield when you venture off into these dangerous parts of the woods. And let Surfshark VPN be that shield. Not only does it have anti-malware, antivirus features, but also it does have IP changing functionalities wherein which wherever you are, no one will know who you are. So Surfshark VPN can clean all that nasty stuff that is going to try and harm your device, and it doesn't matter which device it is. Whether it's Windows, whether it's Macintosh or Linux, whether it's on your desktop, laptop, phone, iPad, you name it, Surfshark VPN has you covered on all your devices, and it's available in so many different countries across the entire world. And one of the things I do absolutely hate is region gating. And I love how Surfshark VPN can circumnavigate region gating with the region change feature. So there are certain shows, animes, movies that I want to check out that, let's say normally I can't on Netflix, on Hulu, you name it. Well, I can easily change my region, and then voila, I can gain access to that material, to those shows that normally I couldn't gain access to. So if you like what you hear, and you absolutely should, then check out Surfshark VPN, link in the box below, or scan this QR code right here. You use code KOL, that is KOL, to get an exclusive deal and 4 months free. Once again, use code KOL, QR code, or link in the box below to get that deal. So, lads and ladies, on that note, let us get back to the video content at hand. So now that we've left those shark-infested waters, shoutouts to Surfshark VPN, let's tackle the 8 arcs that are left in the story of One Piece. And by the way, if you do enjoy your boys' content at large, then make sure to slap that like button. It'd be much appreciated. So here's what I said in February of this year. ELBAF arc starts fall 2024. Then the Moon arc starts winter 2026. Full Lead Island arc starts summer 2027. That's Hachi no So. Then the last Road Poneglyph Hunt arc starts spring 2028. The Void Century flashback arc starts in fall 2028. Then the final War arc starts summer of 2029. LAUGHTALE arc starts summer 2031. And then the final party, the last few chapters of the story, starts summer 2032. So the timetable is kind of crazy, though we've started off pretty good so far because we are in September and ELBAF is happening now. A lot of folks earlier in the year thought that we have ELBAF earlier, but we had other events, elders, Vegapunk speech, and so on and so forth. So off the gate, the timetable is correct based on that post. However, I do not have any faith in my timetables. I have way more faith in the arcs to come rather than the actual timetables when they'll happen. And the reason why is this, it's simple. Oda is a very busy dude. Oda not only has these sort of mandatory breaks that he takes, let's say 10 or 12 times a year at least, but then He has these other side projects. We know that there are going to be more One Piece movies to come. The One Piece live action season 2 is happening. Remember, for the first season, there was a lot of chirping, a lot of murmur about Oda being involved in a lot of the content for the One Piece live action. Big decisions like Garp's role and the Marine's role, and certain things happening like Monkey D. Luffy's name actually being recognized to be in ties to Garp in the East Blue Saga. There are certain things a lot of folks have speculated, and in some cases confirmed, that Oda has been a part of when it comes to back and forth between the One Piece live action creation team and himself. And with that in mind, with the live action season 2, we already got a word from Oda that he's been kind of, talking back and forth with them. That means what? More time, more focus on season 2 of the One Piece live action. So let's say season 2 is a banger, then season 3 is a banger, season 4 is a banger. What does that mean? That means
I haven't got time!
More busy work for Oda and the live action stuff. It's okay, it's what he wants for the most part. He can't get everything he wants, obviously. And less time on actually doing the weekly chapters for One Piece. And then there's another big project in The One Piece coming out. And as far as we know so far, Oda's like, y'all just do you.
You cook? Then cook.
It's already been done before, so take it in a direction that you think is most appropriate. So Oda seems to be, for the time being, he seems to be a lot more hands-off on The One Piece. But if they start to, let's say in his opinion, start to butcher things, they start to really neuter things, and it's not a clean cut, it's messy work, Oda may feel the need to step in there too. So right now, like the Pirate Kings, they have the freedom to do what they want to do. But Oda could pull an Emu and try and lock down, try and regulate if he feels that it has to be done. And they will acquiesce absolutely to Oda's demands if Oda feels they're not on the up and up. With that all being said, the yapping side quest is over. I think that the timetable for, let's say, the ending, I think it could be extended from summer of 2032 to as far out as winter of 2036. That's correct. Think of it as me having concepts of timetables, not actual timetables. Instead of 35 years of serialization, we get almost 40 years of serialization for the One Piece story. Now, when it comes to arcs themselves, ELBAF pretty cut and dry. I'm thinking at least 2 years, but it could be longer. Honestly, it could be as long as Wano Country. And with the crew already separated, and Oda having more confidence now to show outside Straw Hat content while the Straw Hats themselves do God knows what, that to me kind of feels like, yeah, we're gonna be here for a while. But that's good because ELBAF was hyped up even before Wano Country was in Little Garden. There are huge expectations for ELBAF. Oda, I think, understands that, and this arc is probably going to be one of the most important arcs in the entire series of One Piece. Potentially like top 5 in terms of importance, and how this arc shapes not only the future, but also the past. Joy Boy and Nika, and potentially demons and whatnot. So yeah, we're gonna be here for a while, for damn sure. That's what I think. So I would say at least 2 years, 4 max. So 3 for the time being, I think is pretty good. Now, the Moon arc. The Moon arc is obviously a fan favorite arc of mine. I absolutely want the Moon arc. To me, it's always been about the story substance, the deeper lore, and the world building this arc can provide for the story. It won't be a long arc, no. But it provides so much in terms of this is how the world was like in the centuries of yore, where we're talking about not only a kingdom like the ancient kingdom that was very advanced technologically, but also other kingdoms might not have been as advanced, but still comparable to the ancient Great Kingdom. We have the ruins on the moon where they have automata. We see in the murals on the moon, they potentially had Mother Flame, which allowed them to create their civilization under the moon's surface, which allowed them to create these robots, potentially, let's say, be a part of the construction of something like Uranus, what might be the object that destroyed the Lucia Kingdom. And folks have been saying that that was actually a UFO. That was a UFO. Keep in mind that the NL cover story, the scientist that made those robots is also from the same country that Vegapunk is from, the country of Baltimore. And how is it possible that someone like him could create automata that are very similar to the ones that already existed on the moon? Furthermore, When you think about the possibilities of how to get up to the moon, ELBAF could be a great option because ELBAF, whether it's the Atom Tree / Yggdrasil Tree, there could easily be positions, launch points, potentially based off of the Norse themes of Asgard and the Vanir and Jotunheim and so on, and some of these pathways / launch points could lead us up to the moon. Let's say, for example, the road to High West that was talked about at the beginning of Skypiea, one of these pathways could potentially lead to Skypiea, and that could explain why there's a gigantic beanstalk that was piercing the clouds in that area, the one that half of Jaya fell onto, which is now the new upper yard / Skypiea. What comes to mind immediately is Jack and the Beanstalk, where when Jack does climb a beanstalk, there are giants that live on top of it. So if this Atom / Yggdrasil tree has influence that far out in the world, who is to say it can't go beyond that? So to me, the options are obviously there. The fact that you had Vegapunk have a space-themed island and introduce anti-gravity technologies from a bygone era that could have also been on the moon. In the NL cover story, we have the space pirates, aliens that could potentially have some correlation to Emu, because there's some theories out there that Emu's physique could match that of those elongated head aliens on the moon. Why were they digging in the moon in the first place? What was their mission? To excavate the moon ruins? But why? For who? Obviously, this may not come to pass, let's say, after ELBAF. It could be later on down the line. It could, let's say, even involve the final war or LAUGHTALE in some way. Fair enough. But to me, if we never get the moon arc, if we never get moon / space content in One Piece, even though Oda has placed those breadcrumbs throughout the entire series, not only in real time, but also through cover stories, obviously. And he even told a scriptwriter for One Piece Film Red that we can go to space and it'll all make sense. The story will flow perfectly. I mean, after all, you have these celestial dragons who they themselves wear astronaut suits. Look, Oda could just completely say, nah, moon, space, all these breadcrumbs, stale. They serve zero purpose, low tier God style.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose.
They serve zero purpose. All right, fine. But that's cap. If you leave these breadcrumbs here and you have all these signs and you even tell other people these things and you never execute, you never go click, Team Rocket blasting off again, really? All right. But I think it's an L. I think it's an Oda L for the overall story of One Piece. After the moon arc, Full Lead Island arc starts. The timetable, honestly, just ignore that. I already addressed it, how it could be extended. I think extended by like a large margin. So Full Lead Island arc starts. It could be after ELBAF, after the moon, after whatever. But I believe that there is going to be something involving the Blackbeard pirates and the Strap pirates. And it will be an attempt to save those that are closest to a lot of the Straw Hat pirates right now. And right now, of course, I mean Garp and Pudding. Garp is important to Monkey D. Luffy, duh. Pudding is important to Sanji, duh. And at that time in February, I also believe that at some point we'd find out that Perona had failed in rescuing Gecko Moria, and she would have been captured too on Full Lead Island, an important person for Roanoa, Zoro, and Mihawk. However, Perona has successfully rescued Gecko Moria. Whether she's also safe too at this point in time, we don't know. So that likely means that Moria's gonna be going probably to the Crosskill, honestly, and have that sort of Yonko Emperor Warlord thing going on with that crew to offset Buggy shenanigans. But nonetheless, that doesn't change the fact that you have Garp and you have Pudding. So there's a good case here that they may be raiding the island. And I also want to see something with the Grand Fleet before the final war. In chapter 800, the narrator tells us that the Grand Fleet are going to be involved in a major incident. I don't think what they were talking about was Yasop's single bullet. I think that there has to be a moment in time where we see the Grand Fleet in mass, the whole army, the whole armada pulls up and they go to war. They go to battle in the name of Straw Hat Luffy, and they fight against his enemies. And I think it would be a perfect chance to have an actual war with the Blackbeard pirate crew with very important stakes on the line, particularly if we did this in old school pirate fashion. I'm talking about old school pirate fashion. Yeah. I'm talking about Davy backfight fashion. Yeah. People don't want this to happen because Long Ring, Long Land, by many folks, is considered to be the worst arc in One Piece. Foxy, shenanigans. It does have Afro Luffy, which is amazing.
Sensational.
But the highlight of that arc, in most folks' minds, I think is the end of that arc, where just Kuzan on the verge of destroying the entire Straw Pirate crew, but then Luffy challenges him man to man, which he loses miserably. And then Kuzan continues his Tour de France. He's on his way. But keep in mind that Full Lead Island, Hachi no So, Pirate Island is the birthplace of the Davy back fight. And even though we did see, of course, a Mimi version of it, I think it's very possible, very likely actually, that we're gonna have a serious, hardcore, potentially even rule-breaking Davy back fight. Because knowing someone like Blackbeard, oh yeah, he would break a lot of rules. He would break pirate code to get what he wants, that W. But in doing so, what would that mean? Is it possible that if Blackbeard were to break pirate code during a Davy back fight, Davy Jones is due? So it could cause a chain reaction where come the end of the story, that incident of Blackbeard breaking pirate code could lead to his own demise. Breaking the pirate code during a Davy back fight. That'll be crazy. However, I will say this. This arc could be in conjunction or in lockstep with the Last Road Poneglyph Hunt arc, its own sort of sub-arc in the middle of a sub-saga that is trying to find the Last Road Poneglyph. And this arc, I could actually argue, could take up just as much time as even, let's say, Wano Country, where we tackle various things within this larger finding the Last Road Poneglyph. And the reason why is this. We still have to achieve a lot of dreams for the Straw Pirate crew. It's a fact. Whether it's Brook, Chopper, Robin, Frankie, Nami, Sanji, Zoro, we have to fulfill a lot of these dreams except for, of course, Luffy's dream. Luffy's dream is ideally the last thing in the story, and there's an important detail there, but I'll say that later on in the video. When can we have the time to really tackle or make strides to Straw Hat goals? Brook meeting Laboon again, or Frankie making strides for his dream, same for Usopp, same for Chopper. Let's say we see actually Nami drawing out the map of their journey so far. Maybe we get some clues on the All Blue. We can make strides in these directions as we try and find the Last Road Poneglyph, and it'll also be in conjunction with what? Circumnavigating the globe. Goldie Roger had several voyages during his lifetime, and the current Straw Hat voyage is their maiden voyage. And that could still be the case with the entire story, fair enough. But Luffy and company circumnavigating the entire world, I think, is inevitable. On Goldie Roger's journey, he winds up revisiting islands that he went to before. In the Oden flashback, that's what we see. The Straw Hats can easily do the same thing, and in the process, make strides, big strides, even complete some of the Straw Hats' goals and dreams. And this could also tie in to certain events that we know are happening in the future, like, for example, Luffy arriving somehow on Fishman Island again. He's gonna be part of the destruction of Fishman Island. Remember Madame Shirley's prophecy. Luffy is somehow going to be involved in the destruction of Fishman Island. Now, some folks say, hold on now, that could be Katarina Devon, but she got her powers after the time skip. And based on what we see with J. Garcia Saturn, it's based on touch. So if Katarina Devon ain't gonna be a part of this in some way, then how does Luffy get back to Fishman Island? Circumnavigate. Go around the world, literally, and revisit locations, let's say in a montage fashion, revisit old locations. And also, because we know that Caribou has intel on ancient weapons of destruction. Oh, Blackbeard, what? Zeha! Oh yeah, he's gonna be a problem. Blackbeard's gonna be a problem. So he could genuinely go for Fishman Island and try and capture Shirahoshi, but in the process, the Straw Hats could meet him there and they could fight there. Let's say instead of Full Island, they fight there. This is how you can have a war between these two factions, and we see something akin to what Oda did on Whole Cake Island, where originally Oda had planned on making the German Kingdom arc a separate arc from Whole Cake Island. But to expedite the story, he combined them together in one bigger arc. Let's say we actually do get to full Lead Island, but the major onus for this war is not Garp or Pudding, it's Shirahoshi getting captured. And now we gotta go get Shirahoshi because Fishman Island, I believe, have adopted the Stride flag for protection. And what do emperors do? We start with Shanks. What do emperors do when you start flinging mud and eggs at the front door of their house? They go to your house and they TP it. Yeah. We gotta TP his house. Just start. The good old days. Yeah. So I think that these two arcs, the full Lead arc and the last Poneglyph Hunt arc, can be conjoined together. Absolutely. And the time frame of this could all be happening in a really large window, because if City of the Rain is correct, the Poneglyph is on the move. It's always on the move on this sort of all-black ship, like the Black Pearl from Pirates of the Caribbean. And there is someone who's using whirlpools, maelstroms to actually defend the ship, probably a powerful person. And they could have ties to the world government, maybe even Emu. So this could be used as a way of prolonging the events of the story so we can actually tackle various things before we find the last load Poneglyph. Then after this, we have the Void Century flashback arc. I think I would combine this in some way, potentially, with the Final War arc or the LAUGHTALE arc, though I would say less likely in LAUGHTALE. Now, here's my reason why. Oda had said before, in an interview with the author of Detective Conan, the last thing in the story, in his mind, is the One Piece treasure. How we get there may change up, fair enough, fine, but the last thing is still going to be the One Piece treasure. That's what Oda said. And that to me has always been very, very important. It shows to you, I think, Oda's mindset as to viewing the end game of the story, the big wars, the big battles, achieving almost every character's dream. A lot of these other dreams are probably going to be before the One Piece is found. There are gonna be a few dreams I think probably still left. Maybe let's say even after Luffy's dream, because like how can Nami draw an entire map of the globe if we're not going to every location around the world? That includes the other blues as well. Maybe the all blue isn't actually one location, maybe it's the entire planet. Maybe the actual planet is called all blue. Woo! So that's been an old theory. The idea is that it's in this window of time that we should be getting a lot of the other things in the story. And that includes, I think, the Void Century flashback. The Void Century flashback is probably going to be an extremely robust and long flashback. It's gonna be just as long or longer than Odin's flashback. Absolutely, I'm confident in that. Here we are. We finally found the One Piece, or we're in arm's reach, or we're a water bottle's length away from the One Piece. Now it's time for a 1-year flashback. What?
And
By the way, we're not gonna see the Straw Hats for at least a year.
I just hit my ball.
Oh, folks would lose their minds. Folks would completely go AWOL. I have seen it. I have seen it with a great story like Magi, where Magi had a robust, deep Almatoran arc flashback that is so damn good and does so much for the story, but a lot of the fans left. Why? Because the main characters, Aladdin, Alibaba Saluja, Morgiana, they were not in the story for an extended amount of time. People couldn't handle that. And I think it's gonna be the same thing here. There's no way on earth we're going to leave the Straw Hats for a prolonged period of time. Let's even going back and forth between, let's say, the Straw Hats in real time and the flashback, even that'd be too much, because that only extend the amount of time the flashback is going to be. So I would say, why not do it when the tension is almost at its peak? In terms of an overall writing perspective, do a sort of flashback like this as we go into the final war of the story. Because no matter what's happened with the flashback, in our minds, final war, final war, final war, final war, final war, LAUGHTALE, go.
I think the fandom is going to be a lot more engaged with the flashback as it leads up to the biggest battle, the biggest war and possible bloodshed in real time Oda is ever going to deliver.
Then let's say compared to We're at the very end of the story, and then you want to drop a whole like 35 plus chapter Void Century flashback.
Madness!
And what Orc can even do is that during the final war, since players like Emu are going to be involved, you could tell a lot of the Void Century stuff through Emu. You can have the final bit of that Void Century flashback, let's say for 5 or 4 chapters, when we finally get to LAUGHTALE, Real Poneglyph, and it fills in the pieces that, let's say, were missing during this hypothetical Void Century flashback arc, or if Oda instead does the whole give us bits and pieces, slices of cake over the course of the entire final war. And then we get the cherry on top at the very end when Robin reaches the real Poneglyph. And folks may complain about that, like, oh my god, I wanted more. It's just the cherry on top, not realizing that this cherry was plucked from the Garden of Eden. This ain't no normal cherry. And these last chapters that fill in the Void Century content at the end game ain't gonna be no normal chapters. So we can structure a robust Void Century flashback in a much better way than just having it all dumped on us at the end of the story when we're literally on LAUGHTALE, One Piece, the last thing that's left in the story, but again, a 1-year flashback. Now, final war arc. I would argue that the final war, based on Oda's comments about the One Piece treasure being last, and as of late, seeing the end of 1121, to me only confirms the idea that the final war for the One Piece is going to take place before LAUGHTALE. And arguably, that final war is happening right now, because we are seeing in real time Dragon and the Rev, they are attacking from all sides, all direction, the food supplies of these celestial dragons, and they're losing weight. What?
2 steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead.
So listen, hold up. Dragon's making moves right now, and in Vegapunk's speech, he did allude to the idea that this final war is happening right now, because the very same tools that were used in the wars of the bygone age during the Void Century, they're being used today. And since the One Piece treasure itself seems to have the ability to actually change the world, and Vegapunk has rallied the people all across the world, even outside of pirates, but other forces, see, that's why his speech was very important, because other people didn't give a damn about the One Piece treasure until Vegapunk said it. Now you have bounty hunters, Revolutionary Army, random Marines, now they want it. So the amount of teams that are vying for the championship has doubled or tripled. It's not just these apex pirates now. So once the last roll Poneglyph is found, I'm a betting man and I tend to win my bets. Once the last roll Poneglyph is found, there's gonna be a war to prevent anyone from getting there. I'm a part of the world government and the Marines. They're gonna try and stop anyone from ever touching the One Piece. So that means, of course, the Rev, the world government, the Apex, devastating, absolutely busted as hell bounty hunters of the world. Oh yeah, they're coming too. Any other random kingdoms, the Striped Pirates. It's gonna be at this junction, I think, we're gonna have the actual big battle, naval size, maybe even like, let's say, across the entire Grand Line / New World / wherever it's located, space, who knows? And then we're gonna have LAUGHTALE. And on LAUGHTALE, we're gonna have the final fight. We're gonna have the final contestants put their hats in the ring. Now, however it plays out is gonna be however it plays out. The way I want it to happen is simple. I wanna see pirates. I want every other force to be out of the way. Get them out of the way. Even if it means, for example, Oda combines the final war and LAUGHTALE together, whereas the pirates are on LAUGHTALE trying to vie for the treasure, then you have the world government and other forces like powerful kingdoms and the Rev and the super duper bounty hunters, right? Even if that's how Oda wants to do it, that's fine so long as these people don't interfere with the apex pirates of the generation. I want to see pirates. I need to see Luffy prove to Shanks that his crew, the Striped Pirates, are superior than the Red Hair Pirates. We're gonna have the fulfillment of Chapter 1. Blackbeard do God knows what, right? Buggy being there, do God knows what, right? There are gonna be certain things I think are gonna have to play out, things that have been literally set up since Chapter 1. And I don't want any other forces barging in the way. No. get these other people out of the way. One Piece is a story about what? Pirates first and foremost. It is pirates who shape the current era of the world. And in a recent chapter, which I deem to be one of the most important panels that we've seen in a very long time, 1121, at the end of that chapter, when it comes to all the major players, who are the 4 biggest players on the block? It's the Emperors. As it has always been. As it has always been. Because I've been saying it for a damn long time now. And here Oda's saying, yes, they are, King. Yes, they are. Buggy, Blackbeard, Luffy, Shanks. That's how it's gotta be. That's how it's gotta be. So I would say LAUGHTALE could be an independent battle after the final war, potentially even a Davy backfight battle. Woo! That would be crazy. I know folks have a heart attack if that happened, but I think it'd be fire. On an island, in another dimension, on the moon, somewhere in space, wherever it's gonna be way more intense. It's gonna be insane compared to what we saw, obviously, with Fox. It's gonna be on a whole new level and really bring that pirate energy to, it's gonna be nuts. Just trust me on that one. It will be nuts when Oda gets to it again. And then finally, after it's all said and done, whether we get 35 years or damn near 40 years of serialization, we have the final party when Luffy finally becomes King of the Pirates and we get the last section of his dream. That'll be the one thing that we focus on after the One Piece treasure is found. And I've said in the past before that in my personal opinion, the final party is a global party, like literally the entire planet, the all blue, right? It's going to be partying and raving and breakdancing and crip walking like you wouldn't believe. Like you wouldn't believe. That's gonna be the party of parties. It could be more than that. It could be less than that. I don't know, but I'm thinking it's gonna be a party. Something stupid, but something also incredibly insane.
Oh yeah, one more time.
And Luffy, he may die during that party. I think it's possible he actually may die during that party. At least I have a drink with Ace and Roger. Crazy seeing that happen. Saying it'd be crazy doesn't even come close to it, honestly. It would be both a joyous and soul-shattering moment if that were to happen, where Luffy dies in the middle of that party to give Ace and to give Roger some drinks, right? But it will ultimately be the finale of what folks will probably deem to be one of the greatest stories to ever exist in the modern day and age. And you can best believe that. If Oda doesn't F it up. Because I've seen a lot of shonen mangakas F up the finales of their story. But so far, the final saga of One Piece has been on fire. So those are my last 8 arcs of the story. The timetable to end the story, again, 2032 to 2036. But let me know your stance on the subject matter at hand. If you got this far into the video, make sure to give it, before you go, a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell to join the notification squad. And I'm gonna catch you guys and gals on the flip side.
See you. Bye bye.